Hi guys, happy
Hello.
Monday. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you so much if you're joining me live and if you're catching the replay. I really appreciate it. I wanted to share with you guys today some common myths that I see women who are just starting their fitness journey, kind of worried about weightlifting and that they are going to look like a dude. And so I wanted to bring on Jason
An ugly dude.
to get his insight on it as well. He has a ton of experience with weightlifting, competing, and is a personal trainer, finishing up his strength and conditioning specialist certification. So I wanted to get his insight as well, because women and men can work out in the same capacity, in the same ways, without being concerned. Women shouldn't be concerned that they're gonna, look like a guy when they're trying to lift weights. My name is Sarah Can, and this is my husband, Jason. You can find both of us over at sarahcantraining.com. Jason on social media is under Crossroads.
Sports Victoria.
I never remember.
Or just my name on Facebook.
Or under Jason Can. Crossroads Sports Victoria on Instagram also. So one of the biggest pushbacks I see from women who are just starting their fitness journey is that they don't want to lift weights because they're worried that they're going to look like a guy. And so I want to dispel some of those common myths and share some weightlifting insight from Jason, who can kind of give us, some more specifics on how you can train as a woman without, necessarily being worried about that. When I first began weightlifting about 5 years ago, Jason was personal training at the time and helped me so much in my journey by offering me real weightlifting routines that helped me gain confidence in the weight room and like what I was doing. Most women, when they are beginning their fitness journey, will head straight for cardio. I did the same thing, thinking that I was just gonna run off the baby weight, and it didn't work. There's nothing wrong with cardio. Really, it's a great method for helping your heart health and keeping good cardiovascular shape. But in terms of weight loss or fat loss specifically, it's really not our best option. And so you kind of have to couple that with the fact that women, will either avoid lifting weights altogether, or they'll only lift, the little 1 and 3 pound dumbbells, maybe 5 is pushing it, for a higher number of reps, thinking that they're gonna tone. And so you end up not really getting a whole lot accomplished in that aspect. So Jason, tell us a little bit why women can still weightlift without looking like a guy, without that concern.
So I think it's kind of, it's kind of comedic that's actually a worry. It takes a long time to build muscle, and it's more correlated with your diet and nutrition. It takes consistent nutrition with the intent to gain weight or size by increasing your protein, and as opposed to just a general diet. So I was just thinking about when you were talking in the beginning of my progress of bodybuilding, I wasn't eating enough, and to think that some women feel they're going to look like a guy because they lift, that's crazy. If it was that easy, and that's just a misconception. You're not going to look like a dude. You need to lift because it will help your overall physique, and also it will help your bone density. And I remember when I was selling memberships in personal training, I had to talk women out of that mindset that you're not going to look like a guy. You're built like a woman for a reason, so you will just add shape, and you're not going to get bulky. It's more tied into nutrition and than anything else. So, yeah.
Yeah, and so, right, instead of focusing strictly on cardio, you want to make sure that you accept that if you really want to change your body and change your shape, weight training is going to be the most effective way to do it, and coupling that with a good diet plan. And so dieting and lifting will trump hours of cardio equipment any day of the week, as far as fat loss is concerned. And you definitely want to do some cardio to help speed up the process, depending on like what your timeline is, if you're aiming for a timeline.
And to answer Kimberly, yeah, I believe doing weights first is optimal, and then doing cardio after, because you're gonna need those carbs to get through your lifting. That's gonna be most beneficial, and then by the time you get to your cardio, you'll be getting in your fat calories. So yes.
Yeah, that's a great question. And so just remember that, cardio alone doesn't equal success. And so there's all types of other things that you have to get into the equation in order to see that fat loss that you want. So tell us a little bit about how a woman can start implementing a routine.
So I would say start by starting your splits. So split up your workouts into muscle groups. So like 3 to 4 times a week, focusing on maybe upper body one day, lower body a day after. So having a day in between for rest, then doing lower body, and then maybe the last day, if you're doing 3 days a week, you would do combining upper and lower body. And then as you progress, your body will adapt, and you'll have to do isolation depending on what your goal is. If your goal is still just to keep body fat down, then I don't know what I'm trying to say. You just do the training program for that type of goal. So if you're going to build, then you would lift heavier weight, less reps, but that's not what women want to do. So you would do drop sets, and basically what I've learned over the years is getting blood in the muscle, and nutrition is going to take care of what that muscle is going to look like. It's not going to be, I've tried it. I've tried lifting heavier and gaining, trying to gain size that way. It's nutrition. It's all nutrition, except for if you're a power lifter like Aaron's on there probably. But, he's a power lifter, so he lifts for performance, for competition. I never was a competitive lifter, so I just wanted to get blood in the muscle.
Yeah, and Kim, great question on the 30 to 45 minutes. It really depends on how often you're wanting to do cardio. I always suggest starting with minimal cardio. So if you're going to do 30 or 45 minutes, only doing that once or twice a week when you're first starting out. And I know everybody freaks out whenever I say that, but you want to use cardio, you want to maximize the effects of cardio. And so if you're doing it every day, your body gets used to it and adapts very fast to it, and will begin to actually hold on to energy stores while you're doing long form cardio. So use it minimally for now, like I said, 1 to 2 times per week, along with weight training. And then if you've really plateaued in your weightlifting and that cardio routine, then maybe switch over to HIIT training, 15 or 20 minutes of HIIT, and completely cut out that steady state session, or maybe change up your weightlifting routine to where you're keeping your rest to a shorter time period, increasing your weight. That way in your recovery process, you're continuing to burn calories after the session is over. And then too, talk about how how cardio doesn't outweigh a crappy diet.
Yeah, no, cardio, if you're eating bad calories, or if you're eating you got to think of food as fuel. If you're eating the wrong fuels and you do cardio, you're burning off bad fuel, and then you don't have any fuel. So it doesn't correlate. You can't, just say I'm just going to do cardio and I'll lose weight. Yeah, you probably will, but it may be water weight, and you're going to lose muscle, and you're going to be skinny fat.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. Eventually, women, as we get to a lower body fat percentage, if you're still doing a ton of cardio, and this is especially true for competitors, our bodies will actually start to burn muscle for energy sources, as opposed to fat. And so, we as women have worked so hard to put on muscle mass that's the last thing we want, is to burn muscle. It's an expensive energy source for our body to use, as opposed to fat or carbohydrates. So definitely keep that in mind, that you want to put weightlifting and your diet in, get that all in line first before you start adding in a ton of cardio.
Even if you're way overweight, you should be lifting as well. If you watch those Biggest Loser shows,
they
were lifting too, and that's true. And whenever I was training, then nutrition's dialed in, and then training, and then the cardio may be different for somebody that needs to lose 200 pounds, because then you probably need to do more cardio, because they're not burning enough calories with just weight. So depends on where you're at, where you're starting, what your history is, and what your goal is.
Yeah. And so just in general, guys, I want to make sure, ladies, that that you will not look like a guy if you start lifting weights. Both men and women need to apply the same general principles, which is heavy lifting, a proper diet, and enough rest to make sure that you're not overtraining, and then cardio to supplement the program. Where women start to differ is that, like I said, once you get down to a lower body fat percentage, and you're trying to get rid of those last few pounds, at this point it's kind of due to estrogen levels, and a mix of other factors that might need to make your training a little bit different. But another area that men and women differ is the volume of the workouts as well. Unfortunately, ladies, we have to keep in mind that we might have to adjust the volume of our workouts simply for recovery purposes. We have reduced recovery capacities, in comparison to most males. And so it's really easy to get around that just by making sure that if you're just starting, making sure that you take a good full rest day in between lifting sessions. And then as you progress, working one muscle group maybe just once or twice a week, as opposed to trying to hit them every day is a good idea. So we hope that we answered your questions. If you have more questions, please feel free to message me or message Jason Can. And like I said, you can find both of us over at sarahcantraining.com. It's super cool. There is one button that says work with Sarah and another button that says work with Jason. So you can find all of our training programs and nutrition programs there. All right, you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Thank you.